Sports Pub.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. And here we are, a home show, a rare home show. Rest of the week, we will be on the road eating and gallivanting and having a good time. But meanwhile, here we are now, recovering from our respective weekends. And man, I am just totally out of it right now. So I'm going to defer to Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. How are you guys? And Defo, how was your weekend?
Weekend was grand. I mean, just absolutely spectacular. Spent a little time Saturday at the local casino. That didn't go so well, but other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? We had 2 days of the most incredible weather that I've ever witnessed. A little bit of a change going from Saturday morning into the afternoon. Made for a delightful walk of life. It was almost like being on the California cliffs there, overlooking the ocean in San Diego or something on the walk of life that morning. And then clear and cool the rest of the time. It couldn't have been any more beautiful. So had a good time, had a nice dining experience, paid some homage to Bonefish Max for their ability, Mike Mayo, to accommodate big parties.
Nice.
And also children and the oddball requests that you don't even want to make when you're dining with kids.
Are there several locations of that? You went to
a couple at least, yeah. I was on the east side here, Lighthouse Point, Sample Road, and Federal Highway. Been there for many other occasions. Met some guys there for drinks, watched some games there. But family dining, big groups. People are always asking, let's eat South Florida. We're going to go with a big group, and they'll appreciate this. It doesn't matter what you ask for. They will accommodate you, and a wide variety of food on the menu, all very good and reasonably priced. So big, big thumbs up to Bonefish Max.
Would you describe it as like a sports bar type place? They got TVs and a place.
A sports bar for sure. Yeah. I mean, a big Pittsburgh stronghold, I guess, for the Steelers, but doesn't mean they discriminate against other people. But I mean, the oddball things that kids ask for and that you have to ask for when you're dining with young kids, in this case, 8 and 5 years old, they got their game going pretty good. Never like a look or anything from the servers, no matter how bizarre and demanding the requests were. Just a well-run place. I've been there before, and I've had the same experience.
These are the kinds of places that really are the backbone of a given area. Look, you've got your fine dining places and some places that people go for, weekend, Friday, Saturday nights and special occasions.
Packed on a Friday night, early too.
But these are the kind of places, like you said, you go with a family. You could go there once or twice a week. It's not going to break the bank. This is a Shenanigans Monday, a place like Shenanigans that Pat Outer has. That's my local around the corner from me.
Same kind of place.
Has an encyclopedic menu, all kinds of, they've got, if you want the wings or the burgers, and, Shenanigans also has the barbecue, and they also have seafood. And, so there's a little bit of something for everyone. And these are the kinds of places that, kind of the unsung heroes, the offensive linemen of a given region's dining area. Am I wrapped?
Well, here's the thing about the food, though. They cover a wide variety of things, like you said, an encyclopedic size menu. And you're figuring, and this is a Mayo pet peeve, where we used to make a face all day, well, you ordered wrong. But it doesn't matter what you order. I mean, and I'm talking about like an international selection. I'm looking at a burrito that was ordered at the table. It was phenomenal. My son had a Philly cheesesteak. It was great.
Yep.
My wife had the mahi Reuben, one of their specialties there, which is featured at other places as a signature dish and is always pretty good anywhere that I've had it. Although I guess you could make a bad one, but but there was nothing that you could have ordered that didn't come out like it should.
Great. Yeah. It's great that a place is solid. The five, what is it? You call it the utility, the 5 tool players.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you order, it's not going to be like world class, fantastic, top of the line, but you're going to have a good meal. And same thing at Shenanigans. Although I do love their wings and some of the other things, but that is top in class. But the bottom line is, but if you're going to go back to like, there are restaurants do have strengths and weaknesses, and even a place that is a regular, you find out
You'll
through
never let
trial
me
and
off the
error.
hook for ordering that steak at the Greek place.
Well, let
You
me
will
ask you
never
this.
forgive me, Mayo. That's
Let me
unbelievable.
let me ask you this: when you
Yes.
go to like a diner, let's say you go to Lester's Diner here, or some diner up in New York, do you ever order like the Italian food? Do you ever order like a chicken parmesan?
I have
Oh,
some
sure.
times.
Yeah. I've done
Sometimes
it.
it's decent. It can
Are
actually be
you
decent there.
are you happy? You're happy with it? Like
I've had it, yeah.
okay.
I don't know about the Lester's in particular because that's more of a breakfast type of place to
Well,
me.
there you go.
Although
That's the
no,
strength.
what happened with the one that was they opened another Lester's on Atlantic Boulevard right
There's
near
4 of
Federal.
them.
Did that close down for a while? Was that closed for a period of time and
Well,
reopened, or is it done altogether?
during COVID, a bunch of them kind of went into, I
It,
guess,
it wasn't as good as the original,
hiatus.
but they didn't have the same amount of things on the menu.
I'm not sure. I know the original Lester's on State Road 84 in Fort Lauderdale is still going strong. I know they have one up in the Coral Springs, Margate area. Is
Think so,
that
this
true?
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, and I know that I think they have one further out west in the Sunrise area. I don't know about the one if there's still one on Atlantic East, but I know
I
that.
think the building's still there. I'm not sure if I've seen
It's
whether it's
definitely
open or not.
Well, now you're going to force me to go to
Yeah.
Google to see if this is still
Check that
open.
out. I mean, because I was curious. I'm pretty sure it was
I-
closed for a short
I
period
know
of time.
it's a family-run outfit,
Yeah.
and then eventually they kind of dispersed them to some of the different cousins, and people bought. It's all still in the kind of same extended family, but there is different relatives operating the ones, and you know what? I can't even see right now online how many there are. I do know that it says Sunrise, Fort Lauderdale, Margate, and it looks
Would be
like
Pompano Beach.
Pompano Beach is still going. So
Okay, all right.
there you have it. They're all open. Some of them are open 24 hours. The flagship one, 7 days a week. And then the other ones are open more along the lines of 7 a.m. to 9 or 10 p.m. But yeah, they're all still going strong.
All right.
Again, I don't know if I necessarily would order a steak or a veal parmesan at any of these places because, again, it's there if you want it. But if you want to play to a restaurant's strengths, I always say, kind of go with what you know. And in the case of a Greek diner, I would order the gyro or gyro platters to pronounce it correctly. But anyway, let's pay homage to kind of the ones that are not trying to be Michelin star places. And in that vein, I do want to pay a tribute and have a rest in peace to my ex-father-in-law, Don Rao, who over the weekend. This is a guy you would have liked, Defo, because totally
right.
without pretension, thoroughbred horse trainer who basically was a guy who was content to race in Ohio. He had several Ohio-bred champions. He's won stake races
Is that Thistle Downs? this
Thistle
guy?
Downs. He was
Yeah.
based at Thistle Downs in the summer, and he
Is
grew
that
up
how
in-
you first ended up at Skyline?
No, actually, that was another story with a sport.
That is another story that I think you need to tell today about.
Oh
this
yeah, I did
compulsion.
go there over the weekend.
Oh, my
But
God.
let me just start off by saying, before paying tribute to Don, I'm a little bit rattled this morning. Well, not rattled. Obviously, I'm saddened by his passing. My ex-father-in-law, who I got to be very friendly with through the years, but
Were you friendlier with him than the ex-wife at one point?
oh well,
At any
yeah.
point?
I mean, I'm still on good terms with Michelle's mom and dad. I'm in good terms
Okay.
with everybody there, and
Everybody loves you, Mayo. That's the thing.
well, I always try to maintain good relations because you never know when it could come in.
They are the grandparents of your daughter, so I mean, you're gonna-
Yeah, they are, and it's been a tough couple of months for my daughter. She lost her one of her 2 out of her 4 grandparents in a span of 2 months. But anyway, Michelle flew up there over the weekend, and this morning was at the funeral home with her mom, and I was jarred. I sent you a picture. I think I've come up with a new way of, and this is something I did not realize is now in the realm of possibility for when we do depart and go to the hereafter. But pet rocks made of
human
your loved ones.
remains.
Oh yeah, wow.
Did you catch that? I sent it to you.
I wasn't sure what that was. I kind of like just glanced at it.
So I know, Defo, you always like to crack wise about how you're going to be cremated and then have your ashes scattered where?
Goes to
16th pole at Gulfstream Park.
And
Where
why?
all the horses died.
Yeah, where all your horses
Every
died.
single one of them was out of it by then.
And then you can spend your eternity where your horses also
Horses
came
out.
to.
Just getting
their
trampled
final
by a
resting
slow,
place.
diminishing,
This
speed horses.
this thing, it kind of gave me it's kind of macabre, but apparently now what they're doing with some of the remains is pulverize, or actually like forming them into rocks.
Okay.
And it says solidified remains that you can hold. Receive 100% of the remains as stones and give your family a healing sense of
You think it's
connection.
real or is it some kind of
I,
scam?
I think they actually use some of the remains and put it into these like little rocks. And I could show you here. I don't know the yeah, there you see
Yeah,
it
the
up here.
rocks. Amazing.
You see the remains, and then they put them in rocks. Now, this kind of struck me as like
Is that that's first I've heard of that.
I've
yeah,
never,
it's the first I've heard of it too.
never.
Now, Don has a final resting place next to his parents. He's going to have a traditional burial, but I'm thinking for myself, you know how in
You
poker
want to become a
players,
rock? Yeah.
no, poker players have these little card
Oh yeah,
protectors
sure.
that they put on top of their cards.
Right.
So I think when I go, uh, I want to get put into like maybe a
Who
dozen
would
of
want
these
you
little
hovering over their
stones.
cards, though, with the luck that you've had? That would be, a certain kiss of death, would it not? Literally.
Well, why, if you got to get that analytical, I just thought it would be kind of creepy as a final
I think it's
reminder.
freaking weird. Again, you're allowed to do what you want with your people. But the ashes thing, I don't get. I don't know.
You should be placed, at the front desk of some restaurant
Yeah, you should be a Christine.
that you
true.
panned during the course of your writing career.
What would you put me? Maybe make me, instead of making me into a rock, make me into a check holder. I don't know. What do you do with something that
A
I
vinyl record? I don't know. I mean, they could do anything, it seems like, with this stuff.
have to come up with
I
that one.
just question the integrity of the whole thing.
Andy is back, and he says, "Why don't I become a slice of pizza?" Yeah, and then they could
There
put
you
me
go.
in the ovens.
You and Roger Stone could hang out together and just discuss politics until
And
perpetuity.
say, "I'm not burnt. I'm just a little well done."
Exactly. There you go.
Well, that's
Oh,
an
man.
interesting one, Mike Mayo. I mean, you did bring something up that I would imagine is a curiosity point to people, see if they could actually have that done.
Well, and I've seen some other
But I
bizarre
would
things.
think then the move would be to have somebody skim the rock into a lake and
Yeah,
see if it
exactly.
bounced 3 or 4
Where
times.
you want to be, or something like that. Exactly.
I'm sure
Yeah.
it would be a
See, actually,
would
that's
sink
all, I
like a
can see
rock.
that if you wanted to like be spread out throughout the world, you have all these different places you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of you everywhere, whether it's ashes or rocks. Okay, but to like have it, this is my dad. Like I don't need that, and I don't
Yeah.
understand.
I still have the ashes boxed up, and I did go for the cheapest, possible packaging of both my mother and father hanging around the house here somewhere. Although I don't know if I could find them.
Why,
But,
why does
we'll
this
see.
not surprise me? Didn't they leave any kind of final?
Yeah, we
wishes,
moved a
like
couple of
they-
times since they passed, and
They didn't
I don't know.
have
I think
a will.
my mother's out there in the kitchen somewhere. I really do.
They didn't say leave me. Drop me at our favorite spot, Niagara Falls.
I
where we
think
went
there's
on our
a problem
honeymoon.
with that, isn't there? I mean, don't you have to get some kind of approval to drop ashes? Like, can you
Yes,
just run the
yes.
Gulf Stream and spread the ashes there? Or,
You know what I always say, Defo? It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So once the deed is
Yeah.
done,
My
what are they
dad's
going to do?
parents,
Yeah,
which to this day is a little.
but I think if you go out on your boat or something, and you just dump the ashes in the ocean, and there happens to be an aqua comp around. I hate to say it, but you're rhymed with duct. Yeah.
no, that really. If you go out beyond international
I
waters,
believe.
3
Yeah, I don't know
miles?
about international waters, but I think if you just dump the ashes in the water, even in the ocean, I believe that's against the law.
You brought me back to a memory of my late friend.
This is
great-
something you should have written about when you were on the city desk about
Well,
how
actually,
cruel that is.
my late friend Tina, who was our travel agent, I called her my surrogate mother when I first moved down here. Tina Wayfrock, God rest her soul, when she passed in 2002, and we did have her, remains. She was cremated, and she wanted to be scattered out by the jetty. Out by Port Everglades, kind of on that Dania Pier side. And
There you go.
remember
You're a breaking criminal.
me
You should
and
run
her
for office.
son and a couple of other friends, we went out there one day, and we
did it.
we did it, except it was one of those very breezy days,
Oh,
and it was
geez.
one of those winter days where it came back at us,
in your mouth.
and we got a little bit, we
So you ended up covered in the ashes of
not
somebody's
completely
remains.
covered,
There you
but
go.
not all of it made it out into the jetty, or into the.
Well, maybe it's a good thing you would have gotten arrested had it all
well,
made it in there. It's possible.
I don't think it's any
I
more
believe,
legal.
I believe in certain places, like I would have scattered my father's ashes at various places because he loved the theater, so maybe the Parker Playhouse. He was big into antiques, so I could have come down to Dania there, Antique Row or whatever. But I don't think it's cool to just start throwing ashes around.
Okay.
Depends if you get
Again,
caught.
it's one of those things. I think if you go off into the middle of a national park or forest somewhere and you do it very unobtrusively, nobody's going to see it or
My luck, I
know.
get caught, man. I
Well,
I
never
mean,
get away with anything.
that's
my
probably true.
dad's
Yeah.
parents weren't so conventional, so they wanted to be cremated, as Jewish as they were, and they wanted us to spread. My grandfather played, I think, every Tuesday at Biltmore for like 40 years.
Oh yeah, wow.
So my uncles and my dad, my brother and I played around at This was his request: play around at Biltmore, and I guess he left us money for it, whatever. And then, and like 18, I think, and we all took turns spreading his ashes. Some there, and then he and my grandmother loved the beach, so the whole
there you
family,
go. That's an
the whole
easy one.
family together. So the whole family got together, grandkids, sons, wives, whatever, and we all went to the beach. We walked, we spread the ashes out on the beach again, all taking turns, and like that's what I'm saying. There's no one there watching you. And then we went to dinner. So like, which again was cool. It's sort of, to me, I'd rather have a resting place because it's easier to do a ceremony with people, but
A beach
you're
being in my kitchen also.
you're allowed, yes, you're allowed to do it, I guess, if you can get away with it. It's
Yeah.
all you can get away with.
Ask for the permission. I mean, the forgiveness, not the permission. Although, I do know that some of the racetracks, they do allow, if you get a special, ask for permission and get dispensation. And I know that, great sports writer and horse racing writer, Paul Moran, who used to write for the Sun Sentinel.
Paul Moran was a
also
great
wrote
guy,
for
man. Good guy.
Newsday.
Yeah.
Good friends with Fran LaBelle, who is also was a racing writer and then worked for NYRA, New York Racing Association. And Fran is like the unofficial mayor of Saratoga Springs. He knows everybody up there. And Fran arranged for Paul's ashes to be spread around at the infield of Saratoga next to, I guess, one
I'm
of
gonna have
the
to check with Billy Badgett next time I
It's
see
good
him.
to know for Jesse and myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to the pet rocks, I just think, okay, if I made myself into like a dozen little pet rocks and gave them to all my degenerate poker friends, they could use it one time, see if it's lucky, and then if it's not, they could just chuck it right into the ashtray.
Yeah, a
and
lot of
garbage
rocks thrown around the Hard Rock.
Then, the new meaning
The
to
pool
Hard
is
Rock.
good luck. I don't know, but that'd be perfect.
Hey,
These guys are getting eliminated in the first hand.
Oh man! But just to wrap up, Don was an interesting dude because very tall guy. He played high school basketball for the Grove City High School team, and one of the teams and one of the players he went up against as a high school basketball player was none other than Jack Nicklaus. Jack Nicklaus also played basketball for I think it was Upper Arlington or North Arlington High in outside of Columbus, and Don Rao. Opposing team on the Grove City Greyhounds. I don't know who got the better of it. Other fun facts about Don Rao. He trained horses. He had a horse one year that ran in the Derby Trial Stakes at Churchill Downs. So he did compete against the likes of D. Wayne Lucas. And he also gave a job as an exercise rider, gallop person, to none other than, and this is hard to imagine if you know the current body condition of this trainer, Dale Romans. Used to be an exercise
Dale
rider.
Romans was a jockey.
Dale Romans was an exercise rider for Don Rao. And
although I think he's taken off a lot of weight, Dale Romans. Have you seen him recently?
I have not, but I know that at one point he was bigger than me. So.
Yeah, he was pretty large, but I believe he's really thinned down quite a bit.
Yeah.
So because I saw him at Gulfstream, I didn't quite recognize him. I was thinking, who's that? And then the face is obviously the most recognizable commodity here, but I noticed that a lot of the body was gone. So that's good.
You think it was gastric sleeve surgery? Or
I don't know. I mean, how he did it, but I mean, almost anybody you could lose weight without that if you put your mind to it. I think.
No.
I mean, there's some people, I guess, that have hormonic conditions that would prevent that or make it more difficult. But I would think almost anybody, if they really put their mind to it, probably could lose weight. No.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, hardcore. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, anyway, rest in peace, Don Rao. And again, condolences to Michelle and the whole family. He was a good guy. One of those gentle giants, very quiet guy, and a good solid trainer. Career 18% win percentage, 47% in the money of all his horses.
Wow, that's pretty good.
A career that spanned 7 decades from 1964 to 2017. So
excellent. We pay homage to this man, and the fact that he naturally had some relatable components there that kept you going in their marriage. I mean, when times were tough, did he give you the cold shoulder or did he intervene
Oh
at
no,
all?
no, no, no. He was always I was always cordial with everybody, and he was one of those guys. It's funny, unpretentious guy. I remember one time I was traveling with a photographer when I was a news columnist. A story took me to Ohio actually, and we met up with Don for dinner outside. He was when he was at Thistledowns, and we met up with him for dinner one night at this really nice Italian restaurant called Geraci's. Not really nice, more like a low key kind of restaurant that like a Mundi's or a Concadoro, just kind of a family friendly joint. And we went in there, had a really nice meal. But me and Mike, we ordered like a bottle of wine, and we like kind of a little bit wine that's a little bit better. And Don took one sip of it, and he goes, "I don't know, it's kind of bitey." that, was
Right.
his,
Wow.
that was his
Well,
description for a.
Speaking of Ohio, though,
Full
I don't
man.
mean to, step on the tribute here because it's well deserved, I'm sure. But what possibly, I mean, drove you to that behavior and a complete, I mean, disgrace of a behavioral disorder on your part? As I was that on a Saturday morning that you
Was this
drove yourself across town, like miles across town from your location, because you had to satisfy a craving for Skyline chili? What on earth,
what made you go
Mayo?
there? Were you in the air? Like, I don't
So
know.
okay,
Well,
it
I
happened.
mean, if I decide I want a potato knish, I'm not flying to New York to go to Yona Schimmel's. I mean, this is, I'll imagine how good it would have been had I had it. I mean, what would make you actually get up and do this?
Were you in the area?
It happens to me about twice a year where I get this all of a sudden insatiable urge of not
I
getting
mean,
it out of the
wow.
freezer or making my own do-it-yourself style at home, where I have to go to the lone remaining actual Skyline Chili in South Florida on University Drive
This is
in
not around the
Sunrise.
corner from the Mayo Mansion.
Or near you?
And I don't know, it might have been triggered because I did get word of Don's passing, and because Don is an Ohioan, and every time I would go up to Grove
You're
City,
saying it was subliminal and you're
it might
blaming
have
your
been
dead father-in-law?
That's like
Get out of here.
that's what I'm thinking.
it
I
might have
actually,
been more
Nice.
than subliminal. It kind of triggered
did he
memories
like
of going.
Skyline? Were they like Skyline people?
Nah, he wasn't particularly. There was a place near them that was called Planks that was like a tavern style pizza place and burgers and stuff that we would always go when I would go, on trips with the family to Michelle's family.
You would
But
sneak away
but
in hiding and eat Skyline.
I would sometimes there was a Skyline like 2 exits up the road. Not that Don was into it, but sometimes I would just go when I was up in Ohio. But anyway, yes, so I guess it was triggered by that and grief. And grief will trigger a trip to Skyline Chili because grief begets grief.
Well, and it's funny. Your legions of followers. It's very Trumpian in that everybody knows what you're doing
Don't
is
use that.
totally disgusting, and then like a majority of the Let's Eat South Florida people will get on the bandwagon and go, "Yeah, Mike, go ahead and satisfy this urge," when they should be telling you this is the last thing on earth, regardless of your opinion of Skyline Chili, that you should be doing.
So you're saying like Trump, I should maybe cash in and do some merch. So like instead of selling basketball sneakers, but after a trip to Skyline, maybe have Mike Mayo diapers or something like that.
Something,
So-
yeah. I mean, you definitely could cash in because the people do follow you almost in Jim Jones like fashion.
I don't know.
Like,
Here's the
I mean, if
thing.
you were recommending the purple Kool-Aid, they would be, asking if they could. keep going.
So as I was saying, twice a year the urge hits me, and like I only go there in person twice a year. And I went in there very surreptitiously. I sat at the counter. What I love about the place, it's run by Tony Doyle and his wife Jennifer.
The people couldn't be
And
any nicer.
Do a great
they're-
job. They
They're
do.
No.
there like every
not
day.
their
I mean, these are guys. They've been in business a while. They have good employees. They could just like leave and go off on fishing expeditions, or like a lot of owners just are absentee. They are there every day. They know practically every customer's
Well, that's
name.
the thing, as much
Everybody
as
who's
we talk
walking in,
They
they're
get a
greeting.
nice crowd. I've been there a few times because Mayo will talk about it, and I'll be in my parents' neighborhood. I will be in their area. That's why. But I'll be like, all right, let me stop in. And there's always a decent amount of people there. I'm like, okay.
No, they have regulars and they're greeting him by name. I walked in there, okay, and it's just like my car. I got hungry. I said, I'm going.
Before you get too far in this, did you pay?
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
okay. All right. All
Get
right.
on-
They even posted the receipt.
I
on
figured
Let's
you
Eat.
showed up and they immediately realized
They
okay,
have
that's
raised
Mike
their
Mayo, and
prices.
the whispering started. Yeah.
Inflation has gone to him because I remember on my last in-person visit, which was probably a year ago, like in February. I think I always get the same thing: a regular size wet 4-way, which is more extra chili over top of the spaghetti with some onions and that blanket of cheese and one coney dog. And I think last year it was $11. It might have been like $7 and like two and change. This year the total was $13.25 with tax. Still a pretty good deal. It was $3 and change for the little coney dog, $9 and change for the four-way, the wet four-way.
What did you leave out?
What do you mean? What did I leave out?
Well, I mean, the 5-way has everything.
Oh, beans.
No beans? I
No
mean,
beans.
That would be the highlight of this
That would
stuff.
make me fart. I don't want to be farting.
Oh, my God.
No, there's some people who like.
You're not worried about your own lifespan, but you're worried about farting in public
had beans.
at a
Not-
place
not
where
in
it
public.
serves beans in
I have
abundance.
people I'm around. I can't be doing all that. But no, the bottom line is
You left out the
I-
best part, of course.
Okay, you would, I imagine, just get beans only. And
You
leave
know
out
what I mean?
the
Anything
chili.
with beans and onions and any kind of red sauce on it, I'm
Yes.
generally in favor of. But then when you taste that sickly cinnamon that's supposed to be chili, you're thinking, who came up with this?
Once again, we're going to be talking about how it's mislabeled. It's not really chili. It's Greek meat spaghetti sauce. So when you ladle that over your
You
spaghetti,
should call it Greek spaghetti.
Well,
then.
why do they
Yeah.
call it chili? They call
because it's a Cincinnati
Skyline Greek
thing.
spaghetti.
This turned into a chili. They called it chili parlors in Cincinnati for
It's
some
such a misuse of the word.
god awful
and the
reason. Why do
concept.
they call Chicago deep dish pizza pizza when it's really a cheese
casserole.
casserole? It's
No, but
just a
see,
freaking
now people would consider that anything that didn't have beef in it as chili would not be chili. But that turkey chili from Delaware Chicken Farm
That was chili.
that was chili. It
That was
definitely
legit.
was.
Now the thing is, are you into chili mac with real chili? Like, would you ladle that turkey
No.
chili over
I
some
don't want that on
macaroni?
noodles.
I really enjoyed that turkey chili. I'm a big fan of that sort of alternative at this point.
Would you put it over rice?
I
The
would,
peanuts
but
too.
it didn't need to be. I mean, it was
Yeah.
great on its
It's
own.
on its own.
I
It's
should put
great.
some crackers and cheese if I'm going to do
Okay.
anything to it.
It was thick,
Hot
you know. I
sauce.
mean, it was absolutely delicious. Fantastic job.
So anyway, I didn't say anything to Tony. Like, I don't know if he knows me or recognizes me. I don't go in there.
He
you know,
knows you. Believe me, they all
Yeah,
know
but I
you.
thought they knew the woman knew you by name.
Your picture is
After-
hanging in the window. Come on.
when you Devo paid off on the bet and
Look,
Devo
I
had this highlight.
posted.
They
I
knew my
posted
name.
about my trip. Tony was there. He was hunched up. He was getting slammed, but he was chatting up with a couple of the regular customers. I never said, "Hey, Tony, it's Mike Mayo." I didn't try to pull any schnoring. You know that you would have been proud of me. I was willing to pay my
Very surprising
$13.20.
behavioral disorder on your part. Yeah.
And the best part, you know what they give you complimentary when you finish and get your bill? The complimentary-
Colostomy bag. What?
No, a York peppermint patty,
there
which
you go.
they
Oh yeah,
they
that's
sell
nice. Nice
a la
touch.
carte at the register for 35 cents each. But when you, I
It's a
guess,
freebie.
reach
Yeah.
a certain threshold, I guess when you cross, $10, you get a
You get a
complimentary
There you go.
peppermint patty, which I happen to love. I think it's
I
a
like
great candy bar, and it's a perfect palate cleanser after Skyline Chili. So job well done. And then I saw Tony Doyle did chime in on my post later on, said he offered apologies and said, sorry, I didn't get to chat. Always good to see you. I was very busy. And I was like, that's okay. I was very under the
Well, what
radar.
time was this on a Saturday?
12:15 p.m.
Oh Jesus!
So it was your first move. What was to get off the toilet, finish brushing your
First move.
and run the Skyline Chili clear across town like you had to go to the Everglades to get to this place.
First of all, my business
Did
is
you take an
conducted.
airboat part of the way? I mean, how did you get there?
No, I took my car, and my business is conducted early in the morning. Thank goodness. Now we're getting into this, but I have regular business I attend to usually before 7 a.m. every day. So
All right,
this
well, I'm
happened
sure
well
by
after that.
1:30 p.m.
No.
There was an urge to do that again. No,
No, there was not. This was remarkably good chili that stayed in my confines.
Jesus.
I'm sure there are resilient people that watch this. And,
All right, enough of this.
South Florida, and they say, "Geez, I'd really like to have a pancake from so and so or this or that," but they don't necessarily get up and do it.
Yeah, never do it.
I
Not
did
if
it.
it's completely inconvenient to anything that you would be doing that day. And of all the
You-
things I could think of,
You know what next is
Skyline
next?
Chili would be the last thing I would follow in a compulsion for.
Well, it was either that or go check out this place, Bagel Snack in Pompano. That
Oh,
got
which
Oh,
would have been good, right?
that
I mean,
it
come on.
won. Yeah. Okay. Let's just first of all play taps. I mean, I don't know how Grandpa's Bagels didn't win best in the. It's because to me, Grandpa's is the clear winner.
They're already out of business, this place?
What? No.
Why are you
Bagel
blowing
Snack.
taps?
I'm
Someone
blowing
says it
past
goes
because the contest was, to me, the contest is dead
rigged.
to
Yeah,
me.
it was
That's
rigged.
why.
I mean, at least he was second. They were second. I mean, again, we talked about this. There's like hundreds of bagel shops around South Florida.
Have you ever been to Bagel Snack on Paroline Road in Pompano Beach?
I have not.
Jeff Depot DeForest.
No.
Okay.
No bagel snack for
Have
me.
you heard of it before this?
Bagel
Mike?
schmink. I mean, there's a bagel
Snack.
place on every corner.
Yes.
I may have seen something about it in Let's Eat South Florida. I don't recall exactly
So,
what the consensus of
if
opinion
this,
was.
whatever reason, it got voted, and again, this isn't done by any kind of critical or judging method. It's strictly who gets the most votes. So more voters responded to the Sun Sentinels contest and gave Bagel Snack the nod. Now, I've never been there. Apparently, they do roll, bake, boil and bake the bagels in house, which to me is essential to any place that's going to be named Best Bagel.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they look okay in the picture. I am eager to check it out. All I
Oh,
know
you
is
didn't get there.
So
Okay.
you
I
didn't
haven't.
go.
Well, I
You
was
went
going to
to
go
Salt
either
Lake City.
there on Saturday, but I figured it was going to be maybe mobbed because of getting this recognition. I was going to wait till
And
a
you knew that
weekday.
Skyline would be relatively empty, although you said it was.
Oh, Skyline is
Said it
always
was
packed.
busy.
They do a
Yeah.
good business, my friend. They have a good,
Yeah.
steady
So
clientele.
then what made
But
you didn't have to
but
wait regardless.
but I do want to go to Bagel Snack. Now, of course, I'm biased because I live around the corner from Grandpa's. I become friendly with these
Yeah, I guess
guys, and
that's
they're
true.
sponsors of the show. They also now employ my daughter. But my daughter gave me an interesting spy report on. Well, first of all,
Your daughter literally has worked that entire block
The
yes,
corridor, yeah.
between Jackson's, and I don't mean it in that sense, but I mean legitimately.
Wow,
It's
she's
fantastic.
Yes, she made a switch because it turns out she's getting paid more, and she enjoys the atmosphere there, and the hours are such that she gets done working earlier.
I would imagine the
But
people do well. The
yeah, it
service.
seems like they're
Yeah, well,
constantly turning people
she
over.
she works the front register, so she's not a full-fledged
Oh,
server,
okay.
but she still gets tip money from people who come in, and
To go orders,
she
things like that.
tells me stories about some people are very generous tippers even when they're just doing takeout. Some people will get orders of $150 worth of bagels and lox and not leave one
Zero.
dime
Yeah.
to the people. But be that as it may, first of all, she says that a regular Saturday presence that she sees and
Oh, Segredo
greets.
man.
Tony Segredo has been in there. And,
Wow.
Hey, he said he goes.
Yeah,
He
he
told
does.
us.
I don't think he lives anywhere near there.
No, he's
Oh,
he's
he's out west.
enthralled with the Grandpa's Bagels. But my daughter also said that one of the customers came in on Sunday and said, "I just came from Bagel Snack. I was in there because I wanted to check it out. I ordered a bagel and it was so terrible, I immediately dropped it and
Oh,
had to
really?
come back to Grandpa's."
Wow.
So
Terrible.
this
It was
is
that bad?
this is from another customer, a regular who did go to check it out and
Very
said it was
unfavorable,
not
unflattering review. Yes.
nearly as good. And I don't mean to disparage anybody. I'm eager to check it out myself because I have now eaten at. I checked out one of the other ones that was a finalist, that Bagels and Company, that's in Fort Lauderdale now. It's a franchise and has the kind of goofy modern ones like Dorito flavors and rainbow bagels. And
Bagels?
it was utter garbage. I mean, just had no flavor, machine made, different consistency. It was more like a bread, like you shape bread into the shape of a bagel without any, chew or crust. So I don't know how that one made the list, but anyway, it's something I have eaten at some of the other ones, Moe's in Hallandale, which used to be Sage. I've eaten there. So I wanted to check out all the finalists, and then I was going to weigh in with my own biased review because everybody will say, oh, of course you're going to love Grandpa's because they're a sponsor. But I try to put all that aside when it comes to actual manners.
Grandpa's would rate up there with anybody, no doubt.
Good at bagels I've never had.
I'm
And
interested-
Goldberg's very similar from what I could sense.
Yes.
I mean, it may be
Yes.
very much the same. even-
very, very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So those would be top. And I've often mentioned Chesapeake Bagels. I
Yeah,
think
they're
they do a
good.
good job. Yeah.
I'm surprised that didn't make it into the finals, into the top 5 or 6 that they had as finalists, because that is actually a genuinely good bagel. I agree.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they do a good job there.
Why would you
And,
make-
and then they open up that secondary place under a different name, even though their name's on it, at what used to be that Subway sandwich shop that looked like it was 2x4, literally in terms of dimensions. That was off of Andrews and Commercial.
So other ones that get highly regarded, I don't know if it made the list, but out in Coral Springs, I think there's a place called Bagels and More or something like
Yeah.
that I wanted to check out those because it's supposedly pretty good. But
Some bagel
Anyway.
joint in Weston always gets rave reviews. I used to know a guy who used to bring bagels to the track all the time, and he worked there. The name escapes me, but I'm sure many people know of it. And I believe it's in the Weston area and very, very popular.
Well, there was a
with
place
bagels.
called Mitch's Bagels that had several locations, but they opened one in Fort Lauderdale, and I was not impressed. It was one of those machine
It could
made.
have been it, Mitch's. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it didn't do a lot for me. It was,
All right.
again, to me, if anything is a machine made bagel, it's kind of disqualifying, where they all come out uniform and the toppings are only on the top and not the bottom. And then it's also, it looks like, I don't use, I don't mean to denigrate anybody, but it looks like, like a Goya bagel, like something that
Yeah.
people would enjoy putting mayonnaise and turkey on and then slicing it, making a sandwich out of it. Hey, let's take our first break. First, we're going to put in the good word about our friends at Tropical Acres, and we're going to be there. I'm trying to get final confirmation from Jack Studiali, but we should be on track for a remote edition. Even though the restaurant itself doesn't open till 4:30 in the afternoon, they're going to.
This is truly the early bird.
Yes, we're the early birds.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking with Jack and his sons.
It's like
Joe,
a prehistoric bird.
Jackson,
this is going to be.
And we're going to be talking about, maybe, I guess it looks like they have some new menu items. This butternut squash ravioli intrigues me. Some people have been posting that, and they've got some new seafood pasta items. So besides the usual great prime rib and filet mignon and rack of lamb, we'll be focusing on some of the newer offerings there. But you know me, I'm a traditionalist. I love going in there, getting in tonight, on Monday night. Go in, half price happy hour in the bar, 4:30 to 6:30. Get your beautiful $8 Belvedere martini. You can't beat that deal. Then go in and get your half price bottle of wine Monday and Tuesday night, and then have your, whatever you want. I like the filet again. I think that might be calling me on our next visit tomorrow. And it's a beautiful place for great people. Since 75 years, 1949 it opened. You get the best in hospitality and value, along with quality.
Today is Monday.
It is Monday. You get your half price wine. Call me an Uber, or I'll get my daughter to drive me home. Get me one of those.
If you were craving that prime rib, I could see that.
Yeah.
If you had a compulsion.
I am. I might go there tonight.
Acres to get the prime
No,
rib.
their prime rib is fantastic.
I was thinking this morning, Sam Studiali's got to be, a little bit concerned about what Jack's doing with the restaurant, because the prices are more commensurate with when Sam opened the place years ago than they are with modern times, where a lot of restaurants are really struggling to keep their prices down, and they managed to have unbelievably reasonable prices for a place of that caliber. It's a pretty incredible place.
Nice. So, all right. Well, we do love Tropical Acres. We will be there tomorrow, but you should go in and check it out for yourself. 2500 Griffin Road, just west of I-95 and the airport. And if you want to make a reservation, it's the old school way there. You give them a call at 954-989-2500. The next big holiday coming up is Easter. It's going to be early this year. I think it's the last Sunday in March. So they will be open Easter Sunday, and you want to get your reservations right now, give them a call for Easter Sunday. Otherwise, they are usually closed on Sundays, open Monday through Saturday. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you, and we'll see you from there tomorrow.
All right, we'll see what other compulsions Mike Mayo is willing to admit to here on the show. As he did. He drove across town first thing on a Saturday morning to get a big plate of Skyline chili, giant thing with cheese piled to the ceiling, as he was committing once again to the bet that he made with his daughter to get under 225. Is it 225 or 200?
It's 199.
I think at this point,
200 is a rough number, no matter what you do. Yeah.
More reasonable number.
I think a more reasonable number would be like 215 or 219.
15? I don't know, Lubie. What do you think?
I think 225 is the reasonable number.
225 would be,
Okay.
I'm saying dreaming.
That's
225.
doable.
Here's the new plan.
Dreaming.
Going to New Orleans this weekend.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Gonna be going to
going
to New York for spring break with my daughter. Return from New York on March 20th. From March 20th to June 17th, you will see me in training like somebody on The Biggest Loser or somebody prepping for the Paris decathlon or something.
I think we'll see you sobbing on the day of the weigh-in about how you let everybody down.
We'll have
Life
3
is
months.
No good. Yeah.
90
All right,
days.
we don't want to discourage you. That sounds good, Mike. Okay, you eat right up until that
remember-
point when you're going to start.
We do need to
And-
give the winner from the contest Friday.
Yes, we're getting to that. I've got a whole list of things we're going to get
Somebody
to.
somebody
after
really
these
came up with the
ones.
goods this week too, because the restaurant wasn't even easy. I don't even remember. It was
We'll
some
get into
place that
that.
had closed like
All right.
100 years ago. All right, back with more in a moment here on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. And comfort food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and daily fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have daily happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox, and I am still putting the finishing touches on a deadline piece that I am behind. Anyway,
Who are you writing it for?
no, I said for the family. I
Freelancing?
would. No,
All right.
I was going to write the obit that
Oh,
Michelle
the
could
obit,
post
okay.
on Facebook and also on the for the
Get that
funeral
going,
home
man.
and all that. Yeah, well,
I do have to say, you mentioned, we just mentioned Even Keel Fish Shack, and cranking last night. Lauderdale by the Sea was so jammed. I dropped Mustang off at Fishtails, where they set an all-time record last night, highest ring they've ever had. So the season is flourishing. Make that money, people. Get out there. If you're in the service business at a local restaurant or any kind of hospitality place, now is your time. Right
make
now, it's all happening.
hay while
It's
the
unreal.
sun shines. And again, if you're going to be chiming on Let's Eat Group, there was some moments over the weekend when I was throwing things at my computer because these people just never cease to amaze me with some of their complaints.
Don't let it get to you.
It got to me. But there was a dirty delete over the weekend that got to me. This woman, it was actually entertainment of the highest order. And I was very, very restrained. I did not comment at all. I just kind of watched the fur fly. But it was a woman who went to a place up in Boca, and she called it worst experience ever. And it was because she gave this full chronology. I call it kind of kvetch by numbers, where she actually like gave a numerical list ordering of everything that went wrong, where
Hmm.
it started with they ordered their foods and drinks, but they got her salad came first,
Oh, I
then
saw
her
that one. That
drinks.
was a
Oh,
good
she did
fetch.
the dirty delete.
Yeah.
It's no longer there because I just wanted to start sending it to people for entertainment purposes over, and it was
This woman
gone.
really had a bad time at that restaurant.
Yeah, but
I'll have
could you
to
believe
say. I
like some of
mean,
these things? Like, okay, so if your salad comes before your drinks, all right, it's unusual, but you live with it. It's worse things. You could be in,
yeah.
the Gaza Strip. You could be in Ukraine. Then her main course arrived while she was still eating her salad, which of course is a travesty when
Which
the
happens
dishes
all
start landing on top of each other. But on a Saturday, crowded Saturday, would you rather have
What are you, at
your
least you're
dishes
tired?
arrive too soon or never at all? But then her
Did the guy
husband,
immediately try to snap the salad plate away, even though she was in the middle of it?
no, but
She left that detail
and
out.
she
All
should
right.
have just gone the European route, which is then take your main course, start eating it, and eat the salad after the main
That's
course.
why my dad used to order it that way, and it was frowned upon
That's the
by
classic
most
stuff.
restaurants. But that's the style he used, is
Then
European style.
then she was upset because her husband's steak didn't arrive until 5 minutes after her premature main course arrived, and then his steak knife didn't arrive for another 5 minutes after that,
He
according to her.
complained about all this.
Yeah. Oh, she had it ordered a list. Like first, she had it in one
She
long
never ate out.
paragraph. Wait,
And
let me. She had it in one long paragraph that was very hard to read. So then she took a pounding from the members saying, "I can't read and understand all this. Can you do better?" So she actually broke it down like 1 through 8 with all the things that went
Top
wrong.
10 plays in a week.
She basically spoke to 2 managers, had her main course and some wine comped, and then didn't even put in her main post, but it was further down in the comments that she alluded to the fact that she also had a gift card that she used to pay for the rest of the meal that wasn't comped. And I just like I throw my hand on my head and just say, wow, I mean, that this is professional grade fetching here.
Yes.
And I think, again, without me ever chiming in, Defo, you'd be proud of me. I held my tongue. I just put tape over my head and restrained my arms behind my back. But everybody else in the group started doing the pounding, and
She got hammered. Yeah.
and I think she just did the old dirty delete, which I never liked the dirty delete. Once you're gonna put it out there, put it out there. Keep it.
Oh, really? She took it down herself.
Yeah, that's what the dirty delete is. Not when
Okay.
the admins do it. We do it sometimes if something, or we'll turn the commenting off if everything has been said. But and she was one of those who was like chiming in after every comment and defending herself and replying to it. The
We've
type
seen you
that,
do that on the show.
well, yeah.
Yeah. Lubie says, "Hey, Mayo, what about this?" Wait a minute. You're putting words in my mouth.
Well, the thing is, she chimed in after every comment, but then she got rid of it. So anyway, that's that.
It didn't seem as bizarre as she made it sound, like that it would constitute the worst experience she's ever had in her life
Well,
Look,
that's
at a restaurant.
What a place that we get. Look, we had a good experience Friday. We went back to Mancora, the Peruvian place we love, and it was a good experience. But even within a good experience, some things can be annoying here and there. I don't know. You chalk it up to like, that's dining out. Like that's like, especially on the weekend. We've talked about this all over the place. Like if a place is packed, they're shorthanded. The fact that you're getting the food, it's hot. I sort of learned to be like, okay, that's a win. Like it's just weird to me that even if you're going to be frustrated to go, and that's what Let's Eat exists for in some regards, but mostly it's why Defo likes it, because people go and cherish the places that they've enjoyed. They
Right.
open people's minds. They bring in places that you hadn't. It's why Defo. I think that's where Defo found Wicked was from. Like,
Oh yeah, that was from reviews on
like,
Let's Eat South Florida.
and we've gotten a lot of more winners and like it's just, to me, when something's good, I remember it. I guess I'm the opposite. When it's bad, I just say screw it. Like sit here and hold on to it tightly, and like I just don't get that. Like that's just so weird to me.
We never created this group to be a replica of Yelp. We didn't want it to be just a gripe fest and a bitch fest. We wanted people to spotlight places like positive things and also talk about issues and weird things that happen at a restaurant, and then have people chime in about it. But it's not meant to like have people just go over every horrendous thing that ever happened during a meal, which, again, get over it. And to call it the worst experience ever, that's what always gets me, when the hyperbole that comes out of some people's mouths is just
Didn't sound that bad. I mean, they comped her half the meal. And
They comped her,
barrel of
right.
wine.
What does she want? And but then she calls it worst experience ever.
And the food was coming out too fast for the most part.
That's
Right.
better than too long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call
Like if
anything.
you're sitting there for an hour and a half and
Yeah.
nothing comes to the table, you
If-
might get a little bit antsy about it.
If both managers told you to buzz off, never come
Yeah.
back, I'm not taking a dime off,
Listen,
and insult
lady.
you, your family, and your dog, then I would say that's maybe the worst experience ever. But to have this where the
Didn't sound that terrible.
restaurant tried to
Yeah.
make amends and you're still going on there bitching in front of hundreds of thousands of people, I don't have time for that. All right, contest time. Let's
Yeah. Who won?
well, so I've got to go to the judges for a second here. So here was the situation. The
Looking at
restaurant,
us?
I think
All
we're the judges.
so basically the restaurant was Red Rooster Overtown. That's kind of the official name of the restaurant, because there's
Okay.
a Red Rooster, the original one by Chef Marcus Samuelson, is up
Red
in New
Rooster
York.
would have sufficed.
in Harlem. Okay, I'm glad that you say this, because they opened this Red Rooster Overtown back in
Yeah.
December of 2020. That was the restaurant name.
1920. Wow.
Like,
The
did it
winner
say
of
on the thing, like the name on the thing said Red Rooster Overtown. Like, did it
Yeah,
actually say that?
So basically, the winning horse in the Gulfstream Park Sprint Stakes was number 1, 4-1 Run Classic. Was the winning horse with I believe.
So it wasn't a gimme, the horse. I mean,
No. It was,
4-1 shot.
the Bill Mott Chalk went down in flames, so
There you
that
go.
took down a lot of people. So basically, 5 people had the restaurant and Run Classic as the winning horse. All 5 of them had the Celtics winning the game against the Knicks on Saturday night by various margins. So here's what we have. Dawn Clark put Red Rooster Overtown, full name, with Celtics by 9. And then we have Trisha Morrow just put Red Rooster and had the Celtics by 10. The Celtics won by 14.
Yeah.
You say
The one with
Defo-
the 10 points gets it.
What was
say-
it? Okay, I've never heard of
Red
this.
Rooster would have been good enough for me.
Was
Red
it
Rooster
known
is
as
sufficient.
Red Rooster? Like, what was it? Was it
Yeah.
known as Red Rooster? Because I could see people not calling it Red Rooster Overtown. That just sounds
Yeah.
expensive.
But kind of one of the clues, the first clue, I was alluding to the neighborhood and the area of Miami that it's in without saying Overtown. So
But
But
I mean,
be
in
there.
general, I mean, the woman got the name of the restaurant.
What was it
Okay.
known
Yeah.
as?
all right,
Was-
that's it. We
Was it
got-
known as Red Rooster? Like, I'm asking you. Point
people down here do just call it Red Rooster.
I'm going
Sure.
down to the Red Rooster.
That's fine. I mean,
But
'cause
if you
I-
look at the website, the logo, and I think the
like,
actual
put it this way, Tropical Acres hasn't been one, right? We've never called it Tropical Acres Steakhouse. Never. We always call it Tropical Acres. So if for some reason you asked Tropical Acres and they said Tropical Acres, I wouldn't punish them for not putting in the freaking
Yeah.
steakhouse.
I think if they had
Never
Red
called it.
Rooster, they had the name of the restaurant.
all right.
Same
Red
thing with
Rooster-
Gilbert's. We call it
Red-
Gilbert. You don't call it 17th Street
And
Grill.
she had the Celtics by 10, so I mean,
Yeah, she's the one.
Here's what I know.
He
In the
wins.
official logo, it says Red Rooster Overtown, and then the website address is Red Rooster Overtown. So
you're making this more complicated. than it
If
is.
people
Yeah.
call it as that, it's okay to me that she didn't Google it and she actually knew it and called it Red Rooster. So,
There you
okay.
go.
All right, congratulations, Trisha Morrow. You are the winner of
nice.
this
Since
week's
that's a new one,
contest.
that's great.
Any
And
relation
I
to
am
Bruce
very
Morrow?
sorry to Dawn Clark, although I think Dawn Clark has already won the contest previously, so it's not. like,
She has no reason to
Okay.
earn your sympathies. She
Okay.
was close and she didn't win.
I'm a stickler for
Yeah.
but okay, Red
You don't want
Rooster.
to lob stuff onto her after the fact, though.
No, that's it. Red Rooster is good
Qualifying
enough.
material.
Let's take our second break. Let's talk about our friends at Batch, a new Southern Kitchen and Tap in Fort Lauderdale. A lot of chatter about. Posted the picture of the fried chicken and waffles, and I guess I'm not a very good fried chicken photographer. I got it from its bad side, but I got to tell you,
I know
that's
there's
good
that
stuff.
side.
It's juicy. It's succulent. No, it's not dry or overcooked. It's just it doesn't have any grease. It's greaseless. That's a good thing when it comes to fried chicken.
Yep.
And all their Southern cuisine is well done in a very refined style that again is not going to be greasy or giving you any kind of problems. It's just beautiful stuff. Shrimp and grits there is great. That jambalaya, even the professor Ken, who's an aficionado and
Very discriminating critic.
yeah, he
Yes.
loves their jambalaya. Perfect spice and all the balance that you want in a classic Southern New Orleans dish. Batch is open every day for brunch, lunch, and dinner. Brunch on Saturday and Sunday with the bottomless drinks. We had our show there last week. It was a fantastic day. This time of year, you want to sit out on that patio area. They got the fire pits if it's a little bit cooler at night. They have live music Wednesday through Friday. They have all kinds of great events. Wednesdays are Whiskey Wednesdays there, and they have all kinds of good different events that you could check out. Usually they have different clubs that meet on Wednesdays. Sometimes they sip whiskeys and learn the educational, all the aspects of what goes into a fine whiskey. They also make their own kind of the pecan infused ones are great. So go in there, 525 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. Again, people, they have a garage with free parking right next door. So go check it out and tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
A lot of interesting stuff on the chat line. Trisha says that she can read a racing form. We were talking about this the other day in terms of measuring whether or not a woman is somebody that you want in your life. And
you got to be so sexist. Kate and Bradar is.
No,
well, I mean, she would be one that naturally would, be an immediate turn
We're
on.
talking about it on the show, like
Yeah.
having to show your partner, man or woman, something you're interested in could be a pain in the ass. And he was saying
Val is a huge Dolphins fan.
He was saying
Michelle, huge sports fan.
if you meet a woman that does read the racing forum, that's
Yeah,
pretty
if she can see things in a form that you otherwise would pass over, not to mention the holiday.
I want a good horse whisperer like Kate, somebody who could just.
That's a whole nother thing there. Yeah, I mean that's really getting deep into the occult, which is great. All right, we're going to come back and wrap up this edition, a fast-moving, fast-paced edition of the Lunchbox here in a moment.
Oh Jesus!
Great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting. Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasto platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi. Fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova, or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. It's Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. Time is flying. We got more business to attend to. We got to talk about the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. It's not just a one-week event in January anymore. It is ongoing all year long with events that are going to be taking place, including one that will be at the end of March on Saturday, March 27th. It's going to be a celebration of International Whiskey Day with some good barbecue along with the bourbon. And on Wednesday, we're going to be kind of getting a little preview of the event by visiting our friend Ram Dimfelmeyer. He's also known as the guy with the big green egg. He does a lot of barbecuing with that. And we're going to do the show out at his backyard in Coral Springs. And if you want to get tickets to the event, it's going to be held at the House on the River, beautiful new restaurant that has a lovely outdoor front area that's overlooking the New River in Fort Lauderdale. Just go online to vlfoodwine.com. Again, vlfoodwine.com. You get tickets for that International Whiskey Day event, where there's going to be some great barbecue along with whiskeys and bourbon drinks that's going to be mixed up by expert bartender mixologist Miles Robinson. He won a past winner of the big I guess the mixology cocktail competition that they hold every year, bar fight, at the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. And again, you can also get early bird tickets at a very reasonable price for next year's grand tasting in January, if you are that organized and ahead of the game, which usually we are not. But speaking of food festivals, gorgeous weather for the South Beach Wine and Food Fest, which I did not get down to. I didn't really see much buzz about it on the group, so I guess maybe they've priced themselves out of the local market. It seems a lot of
our restaurants are there. I know Temple Street had some stuff from there. A lot of the people that we
Falsetto, Taco Craft was there. Yeah, no, a lot.
Dispersions. It's just, it seems a bit hectic compared to the things that we usually align ourselves with.
You know, I'm more of a Skyline chili guy myself these days.
Sure.
Got bonefish mouths. What happened to us? We're supposed to be the expert
we had
foodies.
Moncaro is a nice restaurant too. That's local. That's not like Hoyt. There's nothing like we've talked about. We like venturing out to places of all different levels and calibers.
Yes.
And flavors.
You know, I've gotten older. It's like I've been to a lot of Super Bowls. I've been to a lot of South Beach Wine and Food Festivals. What about you, Defo? Just those crowded events. It just
you know what? My one experience there, after years of people telling me you got to go, and it was such a highly coveted ticket, and even with our ability to grab freebies, it wasn't an easy ticket to come by. When I went, I have to say I was completely disappointed. It was an experience. I was in and out of there in like a half an hour and said, had enough of this already. Went across the street, had a $25 glass of sangria, and was on my way back home.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah, the Big Ten events on the beach where you have 3,000, 5,000 people. You got to wait in these long lines. It could get hot.
I got really nothing out of it. You know, I think that's what pissed Phil off when I was talking about festivals was, here's the premium one of them all. And for my money, it was a bitter disappointment, even though I didn't pay. But That's why Phil's events there, are so great because it's just the opposite of
Yep.
the negative experience that you sometimes have at these festivals.
The phrase they always use is right size. It's the
Yeah.
right
Yes,
size
it really
event.
is.
And well
And-
run. I mean, have it be well conducted. That's a big key.
Hey, just cleaning up from last, we did a double on Friday. We're going to replay that episode from Arabian Nights. How about that mother-daughter combination, Lena and Zena?
Place
Putting
was
out
fantastic. The food's really freaking good.
Good. Yeah.
I ate a bunch of the leftovers on Friday, and yeah, that hummus and the baba ganoush and all the grilled stuff, excellent stuff. And yeah, I think I found the new thing that's going to save me and my body from the big bite, which is the ASMR bite, which I saw. Lubie, you put together like an enhanced version, and again, for the people, can you describe, Lubie, what ASMR is?
So it's something that irks the hell out of me, but I found, not being sexist, or maybe men that like it, but women tend to find this soothing, which I don't. It stresses, as someone who's been in radio for a long time, it stresses me out when someone goes really quiet where you can barely hear.
Watching Mayo do it was hardly soothing.
It's
I tell you what, Zena was really into it. She was getting.
Shirley will love it too.
Don't worry about it. You have no shot with Zena. And
I didn't
you're already
say I
accounted for
did,
it.
nor
Yeah.
do I want any shot. But I'm just
Right.
saying she seemed to get very.
She got a little turned on.
It's
I
not
felt so.
exactly a
Yeah.
food thing. It's like when noises of all levels can be loud or quiet, can either arouse / soothe you. And it's become a huge thing on TikTok and YouTube where people will do their fingers on a glass and they'll do their fingers on a table and they'll eat different food items and they'll flick different. And to me, it's weird, but people do find it soothing. And
There's a whole genre of this where if you do a hashtag ASMR, which stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, it's a tingling sensation that usually begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine.
I got to go, Mayo. I mean,
as you speak,
could you wrap this up?
Go ahead.
This is ridiculous. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
okay.
let me out of here.
Goodbye. I was just going to say that it is a tingling sensation that rolls down the spine, and it's become a whole genre. There's these food fetish videos now. One of them is the mukbang videos. Are you familiar with the mukbang?
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. It's like getting turned on by people eating. Is that what it is?
It's like, especially, it seems like it's very big in Japan, where you have these single women who are young, skinny, attractive, and they get like huge bowls and vats of disgusting food, like octopus tentacles and noodles, and they shovel down like 3,000 calories in one sitting, like 20 minutes, and they record themselves eating it. That's the mukbang videos, MUKBANG. And then you have the ASMR videos where everybody whispers and then eats and then makes the crunch, and it supposedly leads to the tingle. Now, it apparently so enraged Defo that he
I'm telling you, it bothers
From
crap.
the
It
show.
actually irks the living shit out of me.
Why do you think women maybe get so
I
turned
don't
on
know.
by it? But
Women
men-
enjoy it. I don't know about men. There may be men that like it. I personally, and I don't know if it's a radio thing or my male thing, but people talking very quiet where I can barely hear them bother. Again, I've been doing this for 20 something years, so it's like you're supposed to talk loud, you're supposed to project, you're supposed to, be heard. So where you can barely hear something and are searching for it, it like irks the living crap out of me.
You think so? How do you think our sponsors would feel if I start doing the live spots?
That's why
If you want the best in poultry, seafood, and anything else for home celebrations, home cooking, parties, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market is the place for you. There's a big chicken on the roof, and if you take a bite of their roasted chicken very gently, you'll feel soothing sensations starting from the top of your scalp, running down the base of your spine. Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market.
You're way too good at it. I don't know why you're good at that.
I actually started having a tingling sensation down my spine. It's just some sick stuff that's going on here. Stone crabs. Are those the jumbos? Mike Mayo said as he pressed his nose against the glass. Oh no, Mike, I'm
Like a
sorry.
narrator from like a
We
show
don't
in the 50s.
We don't have any jumbos in today. All we have are large, but they're quite large and satisfying for
my
you, Mike. All right. It's at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. There is a big chicken on the roof. Not big enough to satisfy Jim Sarney, the chicken. he wants me to stand next to it and see who stands taller. I'm going to say the chicken is probably a good 6 feet. I
Yeah,
only
it's a
stand
big chicken.
5'8".
Chicken's big
But
enough. I
who
mean,
knows? Delaware Seafood, Jose, Gene, the whole crew, they'll take great care of you. Again, we're in the season now where, it's going to be coming up to Easter and then
Yep.
Passover. And you can get all your holiday provisions there for your holiday Easter Sunday dinner at Delaware Chicken and Seafood, DelawareChicken.com. I don't know if the website is back up. They were rebuilding it, which is kind of exciting. Retooled website for the new year, DelawareChicken.com. It's open every day, so just go in there. Very impressive store. And you know what? I didn't even get to one of the things I wanted to get to. Did you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm last night?
No, I'm
Okay.
behind.
You watch it like a day or two later?
Yeah, I watch it like later on.
Because I did a post on Let's Eat this morning. I swear, like his writers or Larry David, like they either patrol a lot of these food group websites because some of their plot lines come straight from like Let's Eat South Florida. On last night's episode, which, by the way, the title of the episode was Disgruntled, which is a word that we've discussed often here because sometimes I tend to be disgruntled, as many people are on the Let's Eat group. But no, it was about, it took place, a lot of it at the country club.
Yeah,
golf
they're
club.
golf club. Yeah, they're golf club.
And Larry and his group, they wanted to get breakfast, but it was after 11 o'clock, and they have a hard cutoff at 11 o'clock. So that was one of the issues. The other thing is Larry brings his own eggs to the country club.
Oh, is that why people keep
Yeah.
referencing eggs?
Yeah, Jim Sarney was saying, "Do I ever bring my own eggs?" No, that is verboten. You don't bring your own eggs. Larry David, because he did not trust the eggs, the quality, and also the
But you just
purity of
don't
the
get eggs there. Like,
well, the thing was, he would bring his own organic eggs from home because he thought the place was using the ones that had all the kind of, the antibiotics added. So the chef would actually, it was amusing interplay between the server and him about the whole breakfast cutoff and then the eggs. And then the other gripe that was in the letter that an anonymous person posted. Actually, Jeff, his agent, posted an anonymous letter on the bulletin board of the country club clubhouse, signed disgruntled. But one of his chief complaints was the cheap processed turkey roll they used on the sandwiches at the as opposed to using real off the frame turkey, unprocessed, or cooking their own. All these food topics every week. So I'm going to now start a weekly post blog going over and giving rulings on the Curb Your Enthusiasm food issues. It's an exclusive on Let's Eat South Florida. That's why people pay big bucks, the $0 subscription fee to get on the group. Thank you for being patient today, my man Lubie.
I'm here.
I guess Defo must have had another transfusion to attend to. Or something. We're going to be hopefully at Tropical Acres tomorrow, but don't show up till 4:30 when you can get happy hour in the bar. And then Wednesday we're going to do the Big Green Egg in Coral Springs, your neighborhood. Thursday is an episode. Everybody can come on out and have lunch at Gilbert's 17th Street Grill, and it's going to be a great time there with Lenore. It's Leap Day. February 29th. So,
nice.
That is going to be a fun show to come on out to because they usually bury us in an avalanche of food. But you could get your own nice, great burgers, salads, and more at Gilbert's 17th Street in Fort Lauderdale. Of course, Friday we'll be back at Gulfstream Park. All right, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for hanging in there, Lubie. Have a great day. And everybody out there, enjoy every sandwich.
Peas, pudding, and saveloys.